Okay, today we're going to take a look at finding the max and min of functions. So if I'm looking at these notes here, a couple things I want to highlight. So if your function is even, you're going to have an absolute max and min. So you're going to have a highest point and lowest point. So on this cubic, I'm going to have a relative max and a relative min. So that would be on my odd functions. So if I'm looking down below at example 1, we gave you a function and we want the highest point and the lowest point. So our max is going to be here at this highest, which is 0, 2. And then our lowest point is going to be here, which is, it looks like 3, negative 12. Our graph is going by 2. So again, highest point, lowest point. Okay, if we flip our page, sometimes we don't have a graph drawn for us, so we need to find our point on the calculator. So if you go to your calculator, you're going to type in, we'll actually skip this example because it's already done, and I'll do this bottom one with you. So if you type in your function at the bottom, that's going to be 2x to the third plus x squared minus 4x minus 2. So again, I'm typing that into my calculator. Okay, so then if I hit graph, okay, a couple things you want to be careful of because we've been using our table a lot. So if you go back to y equals, none of these plots should be highlighted. So if one is highlighted, it would look like this. If it is highlighted, you're going to go up till you're blinking on it and hit enter, and then make sure none are highlighted. The other thing I'm going to have you do is go to zoom and go down to standard. So we align our graph back up because again, we've been playing with our windows a lot for our problems. So with this, I need to find my max and min. So I'm going to hit second trace. So second trace here. And then you're going to go down to the min and max. So we're going to do the minimum first. Okay, the minimum looks like it's here. Okay, that is between, it looks like 0 and 1. So left of that point would be 0. Right of that point would be 1. Guess, we're fine with what it guesses. Okay, so here would be that, the coordinates. So we're going to round this to the nearest thousandth, which is 3 decimals. So 0.667. And then negative 3 point, we'll do 0.63 since there's a 9 there. Okay, so that's going to be our minimum. Okay, to do our max, we're going to do the same thing. So our max looks like it's up here at this point. So if I hit graph again, go to second trace, and then hit your max button. Okay, our max looks like it's between, we'll do -2 and 0 just to make sure we hit that coordinate. So -2 to 0, we're guessing. Okay, so there, again, it's very close to 1, but we'll just say -0.99. If you put 1 there, that's fine. And then the y value is 1. Okay, so again, for our calculator, you're going to type into y equals, hit graph, and then you can do second trace and do your min and your max. Okay, so we're going to do that on this one as well. So I'll do a couple of these with you. So we'll do x to the third plus 3x squared minus 24x. And then we're going to hit graph. Okay, so this one, As you can see, we can't see our graph too well, so we're going to change our window. So I'm going to go to window, and we need to change the Y, min, and max. So let's change it to 20 and 20 and see if that's enough. So we'll change it to -20 and +20 and then hit graph. So not enough. So window again. I'll do -30 to 30. See if that's enough. So notice we can see this point here, our minimum, but for our max, still can't see it. So we'll try 40. Still can't see it. So you just got to keep kind of trying numbers until you can see it. So we're getting closer. So I'll bump it up to 65. Still closer. So let's try 75. Almost there. We'll do 90. Okay, so I did 90 and then -30 for my minimum. Okay, so we need the zeros and the min and the max. So let's go ahead and we'll do the zeros first. So notice there are 3 of them, but it's kind of unclear. This one looks like it's at the origin, but we'll check it. These 2 definitely are not nice points. Okay, so for our window though, we didn't change our x's, so it's still going by -10 to 10. So we'll do second trace, and we're looking for zeros first. So this one will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's between -7 and -6. Okay, so again, we're rounding nearest thousandth. So this would be -6.230. So I'll just pause there for a minute. Okay, and then again, this one looks like it's at 0, 0, but we'll check it. So if I just hit graph, that takes me back. Second trace, go down to 0. I'll go between -1 and 1, so we make sure that we hit that point. So yes, it was at the origin. So that's 0, 0. And then I'll hit graph. And then we want second trace, 0. And then this one looks like it's between 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to do between 3 and 5. So left bound 3, right bound 5. Guess, we don't care. So that's 3 point, it's the same point. 3.623, 0. Okay, so those are all of our zeros. And then we want our min and max. Okay, so if I hit graph again, it doesn't matter which one you do first. So second trace, go down to the minimum. Okay, this time, since we changed our window so much, I'm going to use my trace feature. So if you hit your arrow, and you're going to see that little blinking cursor, I'm going to move it to the left of that point and hit enter. So this is the same idea without typing in the coordinates. And then I'm going to move it to the right, hit enter again, and then that's going to give me that minimum point. Okay, so again, minimum, so this is 1.99, -28. So that's your minimum. And then if I hit graph, second trace, and then I'm going to do the max. Okay, so now my cursor, I'm going to move it to the left of this top point. So as long as it's to the left, that looks good. and then to the right of that point. So I'm just hitting the right arrow so it moves down. That looks good. Enter again, guess, we don't care. So negative 480 would be our max. Okay, and then end behavior. So as my X's are going up, so as I'm moving to the right, my arrow is going up. And as X is moving to the left, my Y's are going down. So this is a cubic. Okay, number 2, we're going to go ahead and graph. So if I type in clear 3x to the third, whoops, plus x squared minus 5x. Now, we did change our window for my number 1, so I'm just going to change it back. So again, I'm going to hit zoom and go down to standard, which is option 6. That moves me back to 10 units on the X and Y axis. So notice here I can see everything nicely. So I do want my zeros and my end behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and do the zeros first. So it looks like I'm between negative 1 and negative 2 here. So if I go to second trace, go down to 0. Again, looking for this one, I'm between negative 2 and negative 1. So negative 1.468. So negative 1.468, comma 0. Make sure you're writing it in the correct spot so I know we're skipping those two. Again, the order doesn't matter what you find these in. So if I hit graph, go to second trace, go down to 0. Again, this one looks like it's right at 0, but I'll just check to make sure. So I'll go between negative 1 and 1. So yep, that one's at the origin. And then this one here looks like it's right on 1, but I'm just going to double check because sometimes, again, it can be a decimal. So here I'm going to go between, I'll just go between 0 and 2 to make sure I am accurate. Guess, we don't care. So notice that's good because this one was a little bit more than 1. So here we have 1.135, comma 0. Okay, so now we're going to do our max and min. Again, it doesn't matter which order. So I'm going to go to the min. Okay, I'll just use my trace feature to show you that again. So again, this looks like my minimum. So I'm going to make my cursor to the left of that point. So hit enter, and then I'm going to move it to the right. Hit enter, enter again. So there my min is 0.642, comma negative 2.004. So just pause there for a second. So that's your minimum. And then your max, same idea. I'm going to go to second trace, down to the max. Okay, I'll just show you again with the little trace feature. So if you go to the left, again, this is my max. Hit enter, go to the right, hit enter, guess, we're fine with whatever. And then there's my max. So this would be negative 0.865. And then 3.131. Actually, I'm going to do a 2 right here since my 5 rounded that up. So that would be my max. And again, pausing there for a second. Okay, and then for my end behavior, so as X is getting larger, I'm also getting larger, As x is getting smaller, my arrow is getting smaller.